Hello everybody, welcome to the God Mode channel. We are here back for another Friday night of D&D with Lucent Odyssey, our hex crawl, open-ended Oregon Trail style D&D adventure session. What is this, 13 I think? Something like that. I am your host, Jaso / the Wizard, whatever else you want to call me, and who else is joining me on this fine evening?
Hey, it's Luke, and I am playing
Lincoln,
who is a Warforged Fey Wanderer Ranger.
What's up, guys? My name is Kevin, and tonight I am playing Time.
The anticipation is killing me.
Oh. Ah, there it is. All right. Gets longer every week.
What's up, everybody?
Okay, there we go.
A belated happy birthday to you, Mr. Tynar. I'm Slim. I'll be playing your one and only bugbear goon, a rogue of trade, Mr. Uncle Jimmy.
hey, I'm playing Professor Bark, Professor of the Ravenous Eterna.
Hey guys, it's your girl Amanda. I'm playing Opie Stickyfoot, a human ranger swarmkeeper.
Everybody, I'm Nick. I'm Play Forte. He's a dwarven mechanic sent here to take care of the wagon as the well-wishers travel to open up all the radiant wells.
Thank you, everybody. As always, quick little housekeeping before we jump in. Huge thank you to Amanda Otten for the beautiful character art for our campaign. Go give her some love over on Twitter. That's the link to her social. Go give her a follow, and if you want, grab yourself a commission if they are open. She does an amazing job, and I'm very happy to have had her create our characters in a beautiful style. So thank you so much. Remember, you can always interact with the channel using Twitch channel points. You can buy the players +1s to their roles. You can give a random party member either the elated or forlorn condition. All that'll be random, so that'll either give them a +4 or a -D4 to their roll. So keep that in mind as you consider that. No community challenge just yet, but we'll likely have one starting up next week, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. And keep in mind, you get boosted Twitch channel points for following the channel. You get a multiplier for being subbed. And also, a big thank you to everybody who's been following the past week or two. We are now at that golden number of 666 followers. I'd love to suggest that more people follow the channel, and that would probably be the smart thing to do, but I would also be okay if we just never rose from this number again. So a huge thank you to everyone for following and hanging out with me over the past couple of streams over the week or so. We use stream stickers here as well. Mouse over the channel, you'll see the purple heart. We have a huge homebrew list, and there's a whole bunch of rules, homebrew rules for this campaign. I'm going to be busy DMing, so if I happen to miss someone following the channel or rating us, I obviously appreciate it, but I'm spinning 300 plates, so if I don't happen to interact with the chat or do something, just know that it's greatly appreciated. And if you want to see all of the rules and stuff we use for the campaign, we have some chat commands for that. You'll see the floating log over here on the screen. That's going to give you a couple clue-ins into what sort of like Twitch shortcut commands to use for those, so keep that in mind. Also, I have 2 seats open for my Thursday game of Dungeons & Dragons. That happens at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Just had a player who had to drop out, so 2 spots left open there. We're early on in that campaign. I think we're only 4 or 5 sessions in. It's the perfect time to jump in. If you have questions, let me know, but go check that out with the link in the chat. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and roll our intro. That's it for the housekeeping. In the background, I'm going to be handing out some inspiration and seeing which one of our players wants to give the recap from last week. So we'll be right back, everybody.
not at all.
Let's
Somebody want to
see.
catch strays?
Uh-oh. Opie.
Yeah.
Do
That's
your
me,
best,
y'all.
if you can, to remind us what happened. Although some of the stuff no one can seem to remember, but if you can, do your best to please elucidate us on what happened last time on
Lucent Odyssey.
Okay, so we're in Epicedium. And we went to that guy and we told him about the notice, and he was like, I ain't got no wife. And we were like, okay, that's weird. And then I took no notes last session, but here I go. I think we asked around and somehow we found out that he was married, right? Like, at some point, he was married, for sure.
Yeah, we found like a letter, and there was a ring.
Yeah, and then we went to the address, and it was like a greenhouse, right?
like a plant shop, flower shop.
Yeah, like a plant shop, yeah. I don't really remember what happened there, but then I do know
It's perfectly
that
apt for this arc here.
Yeah. But then I do know that we went to sleep at an inn.
You did.
But like it was like kind of sketch, and at some point we all woke up because like the window was open, and then there was something weird. I think it was next to Uncle Jimmy. It was like scratched into the floor, and it was like, don't FORG. Like, don't forget, possibly.
Org.
And then yeah, thank you, Forte, for this recap, because I do remember now that they said something about a 7th member. Although, who said that to us? All 7 of you or something.
We got a mysterious like letter.
Oh, yeah.
There was like somebody in a window, and we rushed to see them, and they were gone, and they left a letter saying that there
Okay.
were 7 of us.
Yeah. But there's only ever been 6. So maybe they're just wrong.
Right?
And, yeah. That's about it, I think.
Very good. That got most of the details. But
No,
even the
it
stuff you
didn't.
forgot, that's perfectly fine, 'cause that works perfectly for this story anyway. Yes. A note given to you the previous night at a strange occurrence at the inn as you all got some rest or attempted to do so. Finding yourselves a note from some sort of stranger outside left for you that mentioned, written on the note was a address here within the city of Epicedium to meet with them at. As they mentioned for you to come to this address. The townspeople are unaware of what's going on. You may be able to help. And then the note mentioned, make sure all 7 of you come and no more.
Okay.
All right.
And
I mean,
remember
they could be talking about the King of Toads.
Lincoln doubts that.
He's a person. He's a
Lincoln
person.
thinks we're cursed, or the town is cursed. There's some sort of forgetfulness plague or something.
Well, that's probably true too.
Maybe they need to try a different strain.
I think we were waiting for the morning, because Lincoln wants us all to like buy journals so we can write stuff.
Oh yeah.
You all decided towards the end of last session to go ahead and spend what hours you may have left, either contemplating what happened the previous night or trying to get a little bit of sleep left. And as you did, eventually the darkness of the Blight Time began to give way to a large aurora of Guidokin above you, giving the twilight to the town of Epicedium. the sound of life beginning to roar back to the city streets as light time fills the air. Most of the people begin to mingle outside from their homes, returning to their businesses as a new day dawns. And it is now 12 light time. The light has just arisen. That's going to be another mark off of the harmonic flux, Amanda. And that's where you all left off. You're still in the inn. You all can hear the innkeeper as she is running a mixture of both the inn itself and largely keeping to some patrons down below who are having probably what is a quick breakfast before they either get to their business or whatever. So that's what you hear, some a couple folks moving and going downstairs. Most of the patrons, it appears, in the rooms on the right side of yours, because you all rented the ones on the left side, have either left or don't seem to have their doors open. Probably likely the case that last night's events may have scared some of them off, you're unsure. But that's where you all find yourselves as each of you wake up and are able to leave your rooms and meet up with one another, and the day is yours. What would you like to do?
Find bookstore somewhere where we can record our thoughts.
Yeah, my family always says forget about it, and I think we did. Do you guys remember bringing anybody else with us? There's 6 of us. I mean, unless they're talking about the giant plant or pack mule.
They're probably just talking about the Toad King. And Opie lifts up his cape.
Perhaps. If there were 7 of us, there would be some sort of evidence in the cart if we were forgetting something. A number of things. Have we counted our tents?
Good thought, Lincoln.
Well, let's go check the cart.
Check the wagon.
You all step out of the inn and into the relatively busy city streets. It doesn't seem as busy as it did the previous day, but still certainly plenty of travelers, businessmen walking through, people at stalls selling their wares. Lincoln, as you're passing through the sort of central plaza here of Epicedium, you do notice that towards the edge of the plaza there's like a bookstore. There's like a bookstore along with obviously like writing utensils and stuff you could probably find. And you all continue along, heading towards the front gates where the stalls were that you were able to set up with your plant-like draft animal and keep the wagon at. And you all speak to the stable master, and they open up the gate to allow you to go check on your belongings with your wagon. You see the Phytoma sort of rustling around in the hay, using a long, weird, pink-like tongue or tendril to just kind of rake it across, looking for whatever it is looking for. You don't know.
Oh, don't forget to harvest the wood from our, because he shits out a pound of wood each day.
Oh yeah.
How many tents do we have?
How many did you originally have in total?
I think it was 6. I think
6, so one for everyone?
I think so.
No, it was.
Sorry, it was 3.
Oh no, yeah,
That's
we were
right.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I have.
Lincoln was sharing with Mark.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I know that I have one. I don't know how much other people have. I think it's
Lincoln.
3.
You check the back of the wagon and notice there's the rolled tents over to the side. You count 4.
I have one.
Well,
Is not confirmation, but it is further suspicion. We have forgotten one of our comrades.
Whoa. Wait. I have one. Bark has one.
All right, I think we're getting confused with our inventory. I think Jason's shorthanding.
There's one extra.
Inventory. Yeah.
Whatever we
Let's
have,
not.
there's one extra.
Yeah, let's not overcomplicate things here.
Well, that's worrying. How long
Sure.
have we been forgetting?
It must be since we entered the town. Surely.
Everyone is here, right, at the back of the wagon? You all came together as a group.
I think so.
Give
see why
me a perception check, everybody.
Ooh, rolling dice. 17.
19.
6.
Damn!
Still sleepy
Walking
from that
Jimmy.
hangover, Opie.
Yeah, Opie's hungover. I forgot.
Professor Bark, Uncle Jimmy. You notice all of your typical belongings in the cart, the large arcane harmonic emitter that sort of sits like a miniature tower inside of the wagon itself. There's a slight glint from the outside sky as the Glidokin fly around, and the light just catches on something in your wagon, something underneath one of the benches inside to the right side.
In our wagon?
In your wagon.
Go for it, Jimmy.
Gonna reach my long, lanky, creepy bugbear arm in towards it.
You grip a hard exterior, and as you pull back, you see the item that catched the light underneath the bench is what looks like a golden flask. It is adorned with what looks like a number of naked demonic entities, devils or demons, hard to tell.
What is that?
I'm gonna open it and smell it.
You pop it open and smell inside. Smells like at one point there may have been a little alcohol in it.
It's a rum bourbon. Yeah, no, it's a good bourbon. Good, yeah. I think.
This
Was gold?
Yours?
What was that?
Is that one of ours?
Ain't mine.
Anyone?
What are these figures engraved upon it? Does anybody know?
Me, a chair.
I don't know these constructs of religion.
Anybody good at religion?
Is anybody good at religion?
Your cleric has a -1 in it.
No.
11 again.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Tyne, you take a second and study the flask. Just looks like, random demonic looking or devilish entities, and you pass it over to Professor Bark. Professor Bark, they're not terribly detailed. You just get the sense that it's a number of just like naked devils decorating the flask. This is stuff that flasks like this are usually made of like holy water. Typically, they usually carry holy water in them. This one has the smell of alcohol in it. But in any standard situation, you've seen some priests and clerical people of the clergy, those of the cloth who want to drive devils out. Sometimes they carry these ornaments to use in either exorcisms or as a way to ward off evil.
Curious. It seems we are missing a priest of sorts.
I suppose it could be a stowaway of some sort, but with what Jimmy scratched into the floor in the inn, It just seems likely. Journals. We need journals. Things to write things with.
Does Obi remember if we ever let the butcher guy, like, near the wagon, like, while we weren't there?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure he, like, sat along with, one of you as the wagon rode back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He sat in the cart even.
Yeah, he was pretty much in the wagon on the way back. So,
Alright. I was thinking maybe we should ask him if he remembers someone with us.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We were outside
Yeah.
the city bounds when we met him. Maybe he can tell us something we don't know. Probably let us into some secrets on the town. We are old friends at this point.
That's a good idea, Professor. That's why you're a professor.
Ah, well,
So, journals first, then butcher.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the bookstore at the end of the lane there.
you head over to the bookstore. There is a female dwarf who uses a small pair of spectacles that waves you on in and is happily able to offer you a couple books to purchase. Are you just looking for like some notebooks, like blank
You
pages?
just blank page books, and I need writing utensils. Lincoln
Yeah.
doesn't have any like
Okay.
pen and ink or
I'm
anything.
just
Yeah.
to cut away the annoyingness of it. We're just gonna say a gold piece is gonna get you a nice like little book with good 20-25 pages of blank pages in there, and pen and ink to write with.
A gold piece each.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. And ink pen.
school always reimburses me for writing utensils. I'll pay for this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was not. I'll subtract 1 gold at it.
The female dwarf says, "Are you a professor?"
Ah, yes.
Oh,
I'd give her my full title, which is too long for me to care about right now. But it ends with the illustrious Revisator.
wow! I've never heard of that place. Is it big?
It's illustrious.
Wow.
I know in character, but not as a player.
It's like one of the biggest in the Twixt.
Yes, it's one of the biggest, in fact, in the whole of the Twixt.
Interesting. I haven't heard of the place, but wow, that's awesome to have you here. Don't get too many of the more stately, educated types come through. Mostly just traders or travelers. Nice to have you.
Thank you. I'm on an expedition.
Well, good luck to you, and I hope you're able to find whatever it is you're expediting to.
Link.
Actually, there may be something else. You see, we're on an exploration, but there's always something, a little local flavor for everywhere you go.
Sure.
I found in my travels. Is there anything you can tell us about this town? Anything that would put it on the map? Maybe make it into a memoir? He pats on his notebook.
Well, I can tell you that Epicedium is probably one of the older towns. At least as far as I know. I was born here and haven't exactly been too far outside of the walls. Things used to be a little safer in the passage, although it's never been fully safe. Grew up here with my parents, and as far as I know, this is one of the few cities that, is larger and more fortified. We have a festival every year to celebrate the new year. We probably have one of the larger selections of vendors that you're going to find here in the passage. Probably one of the biggest trading hubs. Lots of people come through here, and it's certainly, at least probably within the past 20 to 30 years, one of the nicer places to visit, sort of in the Great Doldrums. The rest of the place here is pretty muggy, pretty swampy. Land has been slowly sinking. I'm afraid that eventually the same may happen here to Epicedium. Had some construction. I think they were doing something at the far end of town. Maybe like reinstalling the walls, expanding, doing something. May have been from the town, you know. We're on sort of like a dry plateau, but, you know, I think eventually if we don't keep modifying the place, we don't want to sink into the muck like everything else.
All right, we gotta go check out that area. They uncovered some fucking cursed totem or something. There's gotta be. Lincoln is writing really like pretty much the cliff notes of everything that he remembers happening to him since he entered town in Sylvan, for what it's worth. I don't know if that matters, but I'm doing it right here in the room while they're having this conversation.
Opie's gonna write his in Draconic.
You know Draconic? What the fuck?
Yeah. He does. Yeah.
Thinks everything comes from eggs. Can speak Draconic.
To be different, Tyne is writing in Luxodon.
Luxodon?
That makes sense.
Fucking elephant people? What are the chances?
No
I
one
never
knows.
forget, so.
I feel like your character would know Luxodon.
Yeah.
I thought it was
They talk like the Ints in Lord of the Rings.
came to you easily.
The same thing, but thieves can't. Just that's usually what he does, anyways. But
It was just like little scratches and stick figures.
Shorthand, yeah.
Yeah.
Emoji.
guy stabbing another guy with a smiley face.
So, okay,
I got 2 more questions for the bookman.
continue.
If it was just flavor, we can skip over them, but he mentioned New Year's, or she mentioned like a New Year's celebration.
Yeah.
What does that entail? Anything sordid? I don't ask in character. Sacrificial something?
She tells you it entails a large feast. Everyone gets together. Most of the prevalent townsfolk get together, and it's the time when a lot of travelers like to come in and stay a couple evenings. It drives a lot of business in the town, which is what a lot of the merchants and shopkeepers around here love. And so they're happy to celebrate a new year by bringing in a whole bunch of folks and a whole bunch of a little bit of a boost to the economy to kick off a new year.
True enough. And then, so I guess that kind of answered my second question. Like, travelers from everywhere, or travelers from just, like, certain cities?
Whoever's coming through the passage, typically. I mean, we get a lot of people passing through here. You know, it's more than just... A lot of them are traders, obviously, as a trade hub, but we get a lot of... She kind of looks across at the eccentric nature of your group. Probably a lot of people similar to yourselves who are on an expedition, either looking for fame or fortune.
Very well. I'll chalk that up to being transient types.
Yeah, that's pretty safe to say.
Well then. Thank you for our scholarly materials.
Is this a woman shopkeep?
Yep.
It is a woman, right?
Yeah, she is a muscled female dwarf with a big, thick beard.
Opie's gonna lean in and say, Professor Bark is so smart, and he knows a lot about books. Just so you know.
I'll keep that in mind, she says, and kind of winks at you.
Opie's just like committed to being everybody's wingman at this point.
Not much better than little kids.
So do we want to go see the butcher?
Meat man.
What's his name? We keep forgetting it. It's like
Jiren.
Jiren. How do you spell that?
Jiren. We're not gonna make it any different. Looks like an alien in spandex.
What?
Just kidding. They're purple.
And the stream has stopped.
What? All right.
Character from Dragon Ball.
Are we gonna go?
You head
Ask
over
him?
to the meat shop. As you push in through the front doors, you hear, "Hey, happy to have you all. Come and grab a seat." You see Jiren look up from behind the stall or the countertop and say, "Oh, hey guys. Happy to see that you're still sticking around. How's life in Epicedium treating you?"
He remembers us.
Yeah. Come on, have a seat. You want some meats?
Sure, actually.
Do you have any hot dogs left?
I could make you some if you wanted, kid.
That would be great. It's been really weird around here, and I'm very hungry.
Oh, yeah, sure, of course.
We're hungry for answers. Observe. Observe us. Observe us.
What can I do you for? He says as he sort of like hastily puts down a meat cleaver and kind of begins taking off some gloves that he was wearing.
Observe us. Do you remember anyone else traveling with us on the way into the city?
He like rubs his chin and starts to point a finger at each of you one at a time. 5, 6. No, that's everybody. Is there supposed to be somebody else?
Well,
No. Maybe.
We're not sure, actually.
Well, hard to remember if you're missing somebody or two if you can't remember them in the first place. That's sounds like a bad problem to have. Hey, I'm glad you didn't forget about me on the way back. I made it in one piece.
It's quite a pickle.
Well, yeah, I'd love to help, but yeah, you all gave me a ride in the wagon. It, wasn't the comfiest, but made it over here, and it was just the 7 of us.
yes. See, that is the concern. We found this in our wagon, and I'll produce the flask.
Maybe you
fancy.
recognize it?
He steps on over and takes a look at it. Looks like he takes a whiff of it. Ooh, yeah. Looks like someone's little tippy glass.
It's odd. None of us recognize it. Yet it was in our wagon.
Can I take a sip out of that too when we get it back, by the way?
Oh my god.
Oh God,
There's
no.
like maybe a drop left of some type of alcohol in there, but yeah, it's hard to tell.
Is it enough for me to get a history check out of it to see if I've
Sure.
recognized it on my travels in various places on spelljammers?
Sure.
Not enough.
unsure. Yeah, unsure.
Opie's gonna ask Jiren. So, you've been living here for a while, right?
My whole life, yeah.
Do you know what's at this address? And he's gonna say the address that was on the mysterious note.
He takes a look and says, that's over in the residential district, so somebody's house, probably.
You don't
I
know?
don't the exact location. I don't know. There's a lot of homes over there. Most of us here in the plaza, we usually sort of like have a larger structure, larger building, so that we can sleep here and then kind of wake up and just walk through a door into our business. You'll see a lot of us. I think the keymaker sleeps upstairs, so don't really go there over much. I'm assuming it's a house for somebody. Why, is that important to you all? Is this the person you're missing? Is this where they live?
I don't know. We
Well,
don't really know what's going on.
I don't know either.
Would you
Sorry for troubling you.
Oh, no, it's fine. I would love to help, but yeah. I mean, this flask looks like something anybody would maybe like, you know, any, no offense, traveler, adventurer may have pawned out of some church or chapel and maybe threw a little spirits in there as a nice little thing to sip on as you try to make your way through this godforsaken passage. So, yeah, I don't know. Doesn't ring any specific bells.
And what do you know about the construction in town?
What construction?
The construction. We were told by the shopkeeper at the bookstore that there's some construction going on.
Where?
Rebuilding at the eroding side of the city.
He kind of scratches his scruffy head. No, don't really know about that.
Walls falling, nothing.
Oh, I mean, if that's the case, there could be something about the city municipal trying to reorient some of the walls. Occasionally we get these kind of muddy areas in the ground where some of the walls begin to sink in, and if you don't reposition and reinforce them, then you could have the potential for them to cave in. I mean, I assume. I haven't heard anything about that, but it's not out of the realm of the ordinary.
Are they describing the same thing there, Jason?
It sounds like it.
Okay. Fair enough.
The bookstore shopkeep definitely said there was like construction, right?
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for the hot dog, sir.
Oh, yeah. I'll, let me get a couple of these wrapped for you, kid, and I'll, toss them your way. Again, I appreciate you all taking a little bit of time to help me out. And, yeah, sorry for the confusion you're all having. Hopefully your stay in town's been going well so far. But, yeah, let me get these wrapped for you, and I'll, throw it your way so you can continue your adventure.
Butcher remembers no seventh member.
Shit.
I guess, do we want to go to the address in the letter first, or check out like this construction area first?
I think we should. Okay, all right. Here's my wacky reasoning. I think we should check out the construction area first, because we might find who the flask belongs to, and then all 7 of us could be at the address, right?
Yes.
I guess that makes sense.
In the strictest sense, we don't know or have any idea who the 7th is, so.
Yeah, it could be anywhere. I don't know. I just maybe we should check out the construction.
Okay.
Good.
Jiren comes back and hands you a wrapped pack of 10 hot dogs that he sort of just hastily put together for you. The package is slightly wet.
That's what I was gonna ask him. I was like, yes, well, I'm very kind of confused by being in this city, you know, it seems. Is that something normal that happens around here? I'm normally used to the woods, but is that something that happens in the city? People getting confused, forgetting stuff?
He does like almost like a sympathetic smile as he kind of looks at you, Bark, and the rest, and says, gonna be honest, not really. No offense, but it seems like you're all a little confused together as a cohesive unit. So, yeah, it's not something that typically happens here in town. Maybe you all just have a couple things that you've forgotten on your journeys and need to sort out. I'm not sure.
Yes, very well. Whatever the opposite of Babe in the Woods is, I guess that's what I am here.
Well, I mean, hopefully the city itself isn't confusing to you all. Hopefully you're able to find what you need and keep on traveling in relative safety. So, again, if you need anything else, you're more than welcome to stop in.
Oh, the hot dogs will do.
got it.
That is a
Yeah.
really loud cat purr. Yeah, it's very loud.
She's a very loud purr.
Yeah, he hands you the hot dogs and lets you know that if you have any further questions or anything, you can always stop by.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jiren.
Yep, you got it.
Well then,
We should find the construction site and investigate. Heading to construction.
You all begin to, well, give me a check. Give me some type of survival check to search the town. The female shopkeep mentioned that it was on the opposite side of town, but she didn't tell you anything else. I'm gonna need a survival check from each of you to be able to determine where it might be. Forte, oh look at that.
What is a town?
I'm gonna give you a good boy card, Forte, and I'm gonna hide this. Some of you a little more turned around than others. Oh my god, Uncle Jimmy.
Dang.
There we go, one for Uncle Jimmy. There you go. Let's hide this. Collectively between Forte and Uncle Jimmy, and kind of leading the pack, as some of you are navigating a little closer than others, you begin to make your way further away from the busy plaza city streets and more towards the area past residential. You walk by and you're unsure if it's either the fact that a couple of these blocks have homes that are still vacant, or if it's just the case that maybe these are townsfolk who do a lot of their time, at least in terms of their jobs and selling their wares in the plaza. But yeah, a lot of the homes look vacant as you continue to pass by. Eventually, sort of using the layout between you, Uncle Jimmy, and Forte, probably you two being more acquainted and familiar with large cities and civilized places with more people, being slightly more extroverted maybe than some of the others in the group here. You have a better idea of how a city layout is. This looks very familiar to you if you've been to other places with kind of larger settlements. And in the distance, you can see one of the large walls. The walls on the outskirts of Epicedium, they rise up pretty high. They rise up like a good, I'd say, like 30 feet up into the air. So at the edges of the town, they're easily visible past a couple of the buildings. And you see this road that leads past some of these vacant residential homes. At the far end, you can see where the houses end, and the wall itself is curving around at the edges. And then you see where it looks like it is, there's like a vacant space. Like the wall has a hole in it, a gap in it, that is probably a good 30 or 40 feet wide. And as you step over to it, with most of the townspeople now sort of gone and not really lingering in this space, you see a couple of things. There is an area where the cobblestone pavement turns to more of a dirt. You see large mounds of dirt sort of moved and shifted around the area where this gap in the space of the wall is. You see several shovels that are kind of either dug into the dirt nearby or laying on the ground. You see what looks like a backpack or two that sits against the wall. And they're probably in the interior of the city where the gap is, but probably about 10 feet inside of the city walls, still in the area of the upturned dirt. You see a large, what appears to be like 30-foot wide hole in the ground. It doesn't go straight down. There's like an angle to it where it seems to sort of like almost, it looks like it may have been a mixture of either being dug up or something else, you're unsure, but it seems to run into the ground like descending at an angle.
Is it like a cave?
Give me some type of check. Give me like a nature check.
Okay.
I'll give you advantage
18.
on that. Oh, if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you can fish for a crit, yeah.
18.
With 18, Lincoln, this does not look like a natural cave. This actually looks like it is man-made.
Okay, so it's tunnels.
Looks to be that way.
How big are they? Like hands and knees type big enough? or can you
No,
walk?
it's like 30 foot wide. You could easily walk into this thing.
Why would they be digging underground to expand the city? I don't know. Maybe they're putting ports under there.
They said it was. They said the city was sinking.
Are they?
Maybe there's. Oh god. Maybe there's some tunnels under there. Maybe some sort of mole man.
It's the mole man. My mom's told me about the mole man.
Dude, at least choose a D&D monster, not bolt like troglodyte or something. Not bolt.
They work for the government.
Yeah,
Maybe it's the Smurfs.
they're real undercover. We're those lizard folk, yeah.
Well, what do you guys think? Should we venture on down there and take a look?
Is there so nobody's around this hole, Jason?
Not really over here, no. You don't see a single soul around here.
Is it a normal weekday? Like we're not like it's not like Sunday or the D&D equivalent where people be at church, right?
No. Seems like a typical workday.
Well,
typical construction site, eh? Nobody's on the job.
I was gonna say if it's a work day, why is there nobody here? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can answer that. That's a that's a union break.
Union break.
Oh yeah, I bet. 10 years later, this same fucking hole's still gonna be here. Yeah, you guys want to take a look?
Let's do it.
Yeah. I don't think Obi can resist. I think he goes ahead and starts heading down.
Into the breach we go.
You all begin to slowly descend. It's a little precarious. It's not like a straight drop. There is an angled descent, but it's on sort of rocky, gravelly ground that slowly begins to shift to have a little more of like a mud-like texture. So each of you kind of watching your steps, trying to walk as sort of flat-footed as possible, so you don't slide down. Do you have lighting sources of any type? Because it is pitch black as it continues to descend.
I can produce flame and just hold it.
You bet, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, Obi has a torch.
Torches.
Cracking some torches using Lincoln. Do you have a light that you can...
I've got a flutter blade is at least 10 feet of light,
yeah.
so it's better than nothing.
Yep, you amongst a few of you, every other person with a little bit of a light source, you're able to pull out either a torch or some other form that gives off some light as you begin to descend. The sounds of the town begin to disappear behind you. And let me see if I can find another sound here. Hang on just a second.
That's how much light I give off.
You hear the sound of a giant, massive cat.
For initiative.
I've been waiting for you.
Stop batting us around.
The tunnel descends 5, 10, 15 feet under the surface. Eventually, the dirt and the mud give way to stone, and you find yourselves stepping into what looks like some sort of sewer system that runs underneath the city. Long tunnels with what look like walls caked in wet and stained with algae and other things. A small stream that sort of runs in the center of the tunnel here. You see other streams against the wall, kind of running out of some piping that sort of trickled down the slope down and into the main little stream here. The stream isn't very large. It's probably not even 5 feet tall. Seems like a pretty simple sewage system here underneath the city. And the tunnel continues on for some ways outside of your lighting.
Opie's gonna do a perception check and see if he hears anything.
Sure.
It's only a 12.
You hear nothing other than the sound of echoing drips of water and the occasional screech of what sounds like a small rodeo.
Guess we keep going?
Yeah?
Pressing on?
Yeah.
Let's see, let's get Forte. You can heal up back to 48. I'm not sure why we had you down. Same with Ty, and Ty can heal up. Put you back at 38. You continue to press on. It seems like there are other smaller piping systems that run at the sides of the walls, likely connected to other areas, probably running under the housing and some sort of plumbing system. But as far as each of you can tell, there doesn't appear to be any large areas that sort of shift off of this main sewer tunnel as it continues sort of to run, what you can assume to be, without needing to necessarily make any check, assume to be sort of like a large tunnel system where everything from the plumbing systems collects into one large sort of sewer vein that runs through here, that was sort of connected to the tunneling system sort of basically entered in via one of the walls, the side walls of it, as you all enter into this place. It continues to run on, and eventually you see that it appears that there is an opening of the sewer tunnel area, probably about 40 or so feet on down the way. And everyone give me a perception check.
Perception.
Perception.
What's a sewer? Where am I?
Oh, these rolls.
Nice 25, Jim.
Everyone's looking around and taking note of all of the sewage and things like that. All the wet dampness around. Uncle Jimmy, you are the one that notices old, stained, somewhat washed away from maybe some of the waters and sewage of this area here, stained blood that pox the stone at your feet, leading forward ahead.
A clue.
I kind of hold everybody else back for a second and point to the ground and grab somebody else's torch and point it towards the ground to show it to them.
It's blood.
It ain't marinara.
Shut up. Can I make a survival check to see how long the blood's been here?
Sure.
Oh, goddamn, Lincoln. 23. He's familiar with blood, guys.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Lincoln, this blood appears to be only a few days old.
Fresh. Only a few days old.
If that.
We should press on and
Can-
find the victim.
Can Opie tell if he makes a survival check? Can he tell if it's like human or animal blood?
It would be a very high check, but you can make it.
I was gonna ask the same thing with a nature check
Yeah,
or
you
medicine.
can.
maybe?
It'd be a pretty tough check, but
20.
Oh wow. Ah,
Tastes like shit.
Dirty 20, to be clear.
It's blood time. Opie, you guess maybe it's from a humanoid and not some just sort of like wild beast, but you're unsure.
I don't think it's from an animal, y'all.
maybe
All the more reason. Continue.
Sorry, go ahead.
needs our help.
Yeah, maybe somebody got stuck down here or something.
It seems more likely that they would have bled out by now. But we could continue under that pretense if you like.
Could we tell which direction it was moving by the blood splatter analysis?
Trailing forward down the tunnel ahead of you into the darkness.
All of that shit.
There's one way to find where the trail leads.
Let's go.
You press on. You can see up ahead, just outside of your light, the area up ahead. This sort of 30-foot wide tunnel begins to open up in what looks like sort of like a curved dead end, although it seems to open up to the right side, outside of view. You continue to follow along. The trail of blood seems to continue along. You finally reach the opening. Looks like the room ends in sort of a curved dead end as the stream in the center curls around and meets in a large bowl-like area to the right side up some steps. And I will change maps for you all here. Hang on just a second. Before we change maps, yes, you see it looks like the stream curls around and then dips down into a stone bowl-like structure where, you know, there maybe be like a reservoir to flush out the refuse or something like that. It's too deep to see if there's anything in it, though. You assume it's just water collected up.
Drop a pebble.
You go up to the bowl to look in, Lincoln?
I guess so, yeah. I guess I am now.
You do the thing, and this is what you see.
Oh god. Oh, what have I done? I screwed up, guys. Oh no!
You see piles and piles and piles of bone. Bone and blood, littering the entirety of the basin.
It's indecent. I should avert my eyes.
Give me a perception check, Lincoln.
Yeah, okay, we'll see how this goes.
I feel like this would be like heaven for Lincoln. So many bones.
Most of the things collected in here or left, Lincoln, is just that. Dried bones picked clean by something. You can see dried blood over them. This was not, as far as you can tell, like a natural death. As you're peering at the mounds of it, you see amongst some of the bones closer to the top level what appear to be a couple rags, dirty rags of what may be leftover clothing and what looks like to be the top flap of some sort of backpack or pouch made of leather.
Okay.
I see something. Wait here. I shall retrieve it.
Wait. Is there an... Is you said this is like a bowl, Jason?
Mm-hmm. It drops down a little bit. Like, not enough where you couldn't climb out of it, but it does descend a little bit. You would probably have more trouble getting out, but the amount of built-up bones makes it so that you can get in and get out relatively easily if you crawl over them.
Anybody got like a familiar or mage hand? Okay, never mind.
Opie has a mage hand if we want to use that.
Lincoln's already started.
Yeah.
Lincoln, you begin to descend in the basin. It's a little slippery here. Some of the water has collected on the edges as you kind of descend a little bit. Give me a dexterity saving throw. Just make sure you don't slip up.
Okay. 12.
You're fine.
Okay.
Throw a rope down, just in case.
Opie's gonna throw some rope.
Lincoln's little vestigial hand holds it, and
So creepy.
he continues. He continues over to the pack, and he picks up a random skull first, and then he picks up the backpack.
Priorities.
All right, you pick the pack up.
And I, using the rope, leave the bowl.
Okay. You using the rope begin to kind of rip your hands around it and pull yourself back up. Oh.
Actually, one thing real quick. I want to just run my light over the corpses where I'm standing and see if, I don't know, maybe there's something glimmering or something down here that we may have missed.
Okay. You and everyone else who is peering over in the edge can make a perception check.
Wow, getting really good perception rolls for some reason.
14.
15. Ooh, Opie and Bark. Nice.
Right? 20 and 21. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 21 roll.
Outside of the backpack you have in your hands, Lincoln, as everyone else sort of uses this moment as you hold out your blade to peer at the piles of bones here, none of you notice anything else of consequence other than just the desiccated corpses of what look like numerous, uncountable numbers of humanoids.
Fair enough. Lincoln uses the rope and climbs out the backpack.
Are they like all different sizes of skeletons? Like we've seen dwarves, furbolgs, and humans?
Yes, they share a same variance to their sizing. Some are smaller, like a gnome, or a couple sizes that would remind you of a dwarf, while others are slightly taller that would give you the sense that they may be, a species similar to you, like a taller furbolg. Yes, that's right.
All right. Well then. So you said there was a trail of blood, and then the map showed a bunch. Is there still just a trail of blood?
No, it's picked up. You see several streaks of it here in this area.
So did we lose that one trail that we were following to
No, it just became this.
Okay.
It seemed to pick up in its veracity as it went on here.
Retrieved backpack from giant bowl of human remains in sewer.
Oh yes, we should find out what's in there, Lincoln.
Lincoln looks.
Sorry, I was still talking in Lincoln voice. Lincoln looks down and pops open the backpack. Shines his blade over it so we can all see.
Inside you find 3 packs of rations, what looks like some form of holy symbol.
Oh no.
And a tag inside with a spell book within, a name etched on the front, Father Eden Evermore.
Ever no more.
Got him. That'll teach you, stupid dead bastard.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, does the holy symbol, does the material or iconography on it match anything on the flask we found?
Doesn't really match it. Doesn't match the devil symbols that's on the flask, but it does seem to be sort of like a standard holy symbol that you probably find some type of person of the cloth having with them.
Okay, so there's a holy symbol, there's a tag with a name on it. and then there's just
yeah,
rations.
sorry, it's the front of the spell book states Father Eden Evermore on it.
Oh, I see. Is there any? Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna kind of like do one of those peer over, take a look at what they're looking at, and then keep an eye back on this hallway in case anything's coming. But does the holy symbol look familiar to me?
You could make a check if you'd like to.
History or religion?
This would definitely be religion.
It's a 17.
Unless you have a grand collective knowledge of just various gods and pantheons, this doesn't strike you as anything that you would specifically be familiar with.
Okay, not related to my D10.
No.
I can give you advantage if you want. Try.
Could I fish for the crit?
Yeah, you can fish for a crit.
No.
I just shrug and then go back and keep my eyes on the hallway.
What were you gonna ask before, Lincoln?
Anything unusual in the spell book? Just flipping through.
You open the spell book. Immediately in the inside cover, etched in what is likely probably some form of dagger or something, just etched in the cover on the back of the hardcover is well-wishers, and the rest of the spell book denotes several spells mentioning various things that any sort of person of the cloth or cleric would have with them. Some spells even overlapping things that Forte has.
Could it be? Is it possible?
There's,
We always have a seventh member?
there's no way we just forgot about a whole person.
There are magics that are both powerful and beguiling. Is not outside of the realm of possibility.
The point, though, why just make us forget about this one person?
If we are looking for the perpetrator of a crime, if you cannot remember a victim, it makes the perpetrator much harder to catch. Wouldn't you agree?
That's true.
Perhaps we are not looking for a curse. We are looking for a murderer.
Well, something definitely killed these people.
Yes, that much is clear.
I'm actually interested in the state of this room. Is it like all dusty and stuff? Does it look like there's like paths worn around in the muck?
Oh, that's a good question. If you're making a survival check, I'll help you.
That's what I would call for that.
Survival. I'll take help.
Yeah, I'll help you. Huh?
Not super great.
Yeah! Hey, add a +1!
Him?
Make it a
Yeah.
20. Make it a
Deal.
20.
We'll go for 20.
Yeah!
And
That's the
then
ticket.
tell me what you were trying to deduce again.
Generally, like, how many people are using this room? If this is a one person coming down here and filling this giant bowl of bones, or if it was like, if it looks like ritualistic where there's like maybe a dozen people, or maybe there's like a horde of people that come down here.
I would say even with a check of 20, it's difficult to tell, Professor Park. You're unsure.
Damn.
They're outside of the backpack that Lincoln found on one of the corpses themselves, or amongst the corpses rather. There doesn't appear to be any personal like accoutrements, no candelabras around here, nothing that would give you the sense that there is a person or even multiple people that would use this space.
There's
At least
not
from what
like
you see.
There's not like a Dexter killing table set
Yeah,
up with a
there's
tarp.
no
Okay.
torture table or anything like that. No Trinity hiding around a corner.
No live, laugh, murder sign.
Yeah, no live, laugh, murder sign.
Boy, I love to kill written on the wall. Okay, well this is a problem. Lincoln writes some general notes about this area. What do you guys think? Like, are we done here? There doesn't seem to be any other way out of the sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if that survival check could have entailed me walking around so I can see if there's another exit that way.
You would notice at the top right that area seems to begin and end at a dead end up ahead.
Oh, I have an idea. This is a total literal shot in the dark. Lincoln wants to throw his glowing flutter blade to, like, what would be the epicenter of this bowl, but in the ceiling.
Okay.
Is there like a grate up there that somebody might be dropping bodies down into? That's what I'm looking for.
When you toss your blade up to the top, it's like a ceiling area that rises probably about 30 feet over your heads. When it raises up, all you see at the top is wet stone, Lincoln. There are no grates, there are no piping, no entrances or exits that would seem like anyone could use.
All right, draw it back to my hand.
Real quick, what was the guy's name in the pack?
Dr. Evermore?
Eden Evermore.
It was Father Eden Evermore. Evormoor.
Okay.
Fallen deceased.
Maybe take the flask out for a moment and compare it to any of the stuff that we found of his.
Yeah, like it did.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was
Oh.
too much, but
Lincoln, really quickly, so I don't forget. Inside of the pack, at the bottom, as you finish looking at the spell book and kind of just take one more peer in, pulling the bag open, you notice that at the bottom is 254 gold pieces in pouches.
Yeah.
Well, he's not needing it anymore, is he?
I'll add that to our party gold if that's okay with everybody.
I mean, it's literally our party gold, so.
Yeah. Nice.
It sounds like some Fae shit. Like there's some murderer going around, and then they kill somebody, and then everybody forgets they existed.
Right.
Like, I bet you that's what happened to Dude's wife, too. Like, there's like a Fae serial killer that's like fucking with everybody's memories.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should go to that address and maybe somebody there knows something.
We have found what's left of Evermore.
Or maybe it's the killer waiting for us.
Maybe it's sacrifices to keep the town safe.
From
Is there-
what?
You said the town was sinking. Some monster,
that's-
something.
That's maybe there's some weird like religion cult thing. Although I feel like we would have found tracks if there's like nothing in here that like has like evidence of them like
Ritualistic or anything?
flaying flesh from bones, and that's why I figured there must be something in the ceiling. They're dropping it down, but there was nothing there. So
Okay, well, I guess that begs the question. So one more time, there's like water and stuff flowing down, and
There's a trickle through the cobblestone. Yeah, slight, not even enough to really make a stream at this point. It's just kind of trickling through in between the cracks and crevices of the stone. That's why it's making some of the blood a little wet and smeared as it runs, curling across and emptying into the basin, running below the corpses.
Okay, yeah, I guess that was my question. That it is sweeping stuff down here to some degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not enough to if it was an actual object, really move
not
anything.
like body and bones.
Right. No way.
It's not
looks
like a
the
water
floor.
slide.
No water slide.
Leave your bones, wild ride. That's what the book was.
Yeah.
Oh,
666 flags.
Oh, God.
No.
yeah.
All right, so let's leave this awful place. Go to bed.
Before we leave, I want to just take one more quick peek around. I got a little expertise with helping getting rid of a few things. I don't want to put it out there, but I've helped remove a few unnecessary assets, and I want to take a look and see if I could find anything. You know, I'm gonna just take a general investigation check to see if there's any other clues as to who's doing this. Maybe somebody dropped something, left something, just like a scan up and down, like back through the hallway in this area.
Sure.
Absolutely not. They're thorough, they're clean.
Study hard, but don't find anything.
Rocks. Well then, let's all go out of this single exit together all at once now.
Yeah, we do that.
You all begin to turn around and head back the way you initially came, moving through the dark, wet tunnel system of the sewer areas down here, following it eventually to the edge where you see the hole in the wall that leads up through this tunnel that raises up about 15 or so feet. It's probably about 30 feet long, and as you kind of, again, flat-footed so that you don't slip down, make your way back up and exit the hole.
So the hole was dug and then it breached into this sewer system, or it was leading down into the sewer system? If that
it leads, it's
clear.
like a tunnel system dug into the earth, because you see a number of like upturned piles of dirt, and then the hole leads down 15 feet down, about 30 feet across, before you see the wall of what would look like the side of the tunnel system, and a number of the cobblestones have either been removed or, you know, they're kind of scattered around. You assume that this was probably either broken into or the stones were removed so they would have access to the tunnel.
Gotcha.
All right.
Can we tell by the way the tunnel like curved or moved? Is the main part like under the town?
Oh yeah, it runs central to the probably like uttermost center of the town.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we go to that address.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. You continue along. The address is at the edge of the residential area, amongst the sort of vacant homes that you see around here. You head up and find that it is a smaller little hovel, not very large, probably similar to, almost not too dissimilar from the upstairs room that the keymaker had, the locksmith, where it's more almost like a glorified lounge than anything else. You knock on the door.
No.
That seems silly. We will take a walk around first.
You walk around. There are 2 windows at the sides of this building, but they are boarded up from the inside.
So does it look like abandoned then?
It looks abandoned.
Anything around the back?
You peer around the back and see that there's a small backyard. There looks like a basket. You see actually an article of clothing kind of hanging out, a black dress shirt. Some clotheslines with no clothes attached. That's all you see.
There's no back door?
No back door.
I think we just knock on the door, see who's there.
Yes, I think it's a terrible idea, but our best direction.
You knock on the front of the door.
Yeah?
After a couple seconds, you hear the sound of what sounds like 1 lock, 2 locks, 3. The door handle shifts, and opening it up just an inch is a shadowy figure that eyes each of you before opening fully. You see standing behind the door as they open it is what looks like a shorter female shifter. She is largely humanoid, has mostly human features, but the sides of her cheeks are covered in this thick fur, and on top of her head, where she should have normal human ears at the side, she instead has two almost cat-like pointy ears as she waves you on in without saying a word.
Went into Shifter's stories.
Forte goes first if possible.
All right, you
Not breaking eye contact with the shifter.
You enter into what looks like sort of a pretty unkempt main room here. You see a bed at the far end. There is a wall that seems to be covered in parchment after parchment of writing, and there is a small writing desk close to the bed with a lantern lit nearby, and a chair pulled out with an open book on top of it. The figure continues to watch. Does everyone enter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Burke will shovel everybody in and tell them that shh before. So that we're not making noise on the outside, I guess is my point.
The shifter opens the door after you all step inside and sticks her head out and just surveys left to right, and then closes the door and then locks it behind you. 1, 2, 3. She walks back over to her desk and, grabbing a quill, begins to write on her notebook. After flipping a page or so, she begins to write, and she holds the book up and says, you all made it. Good.
That's what she wrote.
That's what she wrote.
Why are you writing? Can you not speak?
She puts the book down and writes again and pulls it up and says, deaf from birth. Easier to write.
Some pretty impressive lip reading skills, considering Lincoln doesn't have lips.
Yeah.
Insight check, please.
Sure.
She's not deaf.
25.
Was you cutting her down? Is that what you're doing, Tony?
Yeah.
It was a slap. It was just a slap.
Just slash her with your blade.
Specifically trying to look at her eyes if she's deaf.
Sure. What was your total again? Sorry.
25 total.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see as she is like studying each of your mouths as you speak, and specifically, she almost raised an eyebrow, and it did seem like she was having a little more trouble fully picking up what Lincoln said as he spoke to her.
Why did you bring us here?
She writes again. This time it takes longer than before, and she holds up the book and says, or not says, but in the book it's written, my name is Lavender. I'll show you. Follow me. And she closes the book. She thinks for a second and then writes again really quickly and holds it up. Do you have something to write in?
We all like hold up our little journals.
Yes, but
She nods and really quickly writes, bring that with you, as she waves you on.
Hey, we're on the right track. Whatever's going on, we're on the right track.
She unlocks the front door and opens it. It begins to lead you back from her home into the city plaza. As she gets closer towards the city plaza, she stops and points a finger into a nearby crowd.
And they blow up.
Opie's gonna write in his journal, half out of like convenience for her and half out of like he doesn't want to be talking out loud about this, but like, what are we looking at?
She looks at you, Opie, and nods, and then waves a hand again for you to follow as she doesn't answer and continues to move through the crowds.
Okay.
She stops now. About in the middle of the busy plaza, you can see several groups of travelers and traders moving through. You hear the sound of people doing business, jovial laughter in the distance. You see over in the corner a few children, maybe ones that you saw previously back when you initially went to the locksmith, kind of playing together. She points again at a corner of the plaza that seems to have a slight blank area where there's not a lot of patronage there, and looks to each of you. She then nods and then waves a hand for you to continue following her without saying a word or writing anything either.
All right.
As we follow, can I make note or pay attention? Is anybody acting strange as we walk by? Is anybody taking note of us? Is anybody... This person, Lavender, seems kind of stick outish, if you will.
Sure.
What would you take?
That would be either an insight or perception. Probably an insight if you're trying to study people more than anything else.
That is a natural 20, 26.
Nice. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
With the natural 20, Forte, you already have your good boy card. You notice nothing out of the ordinary. Everything seems completely fine. You have no idea what she keeps pulling.
Okay.
I'll ask her, is there something that we're not seeing?
She shakes her head no, and waves a hand for you to keep following her.
I am confused. Let's continue.
Forte will stand kind of close to Lavender as we continue on.
She begins leading you through a slightly tight, narrow alley. And as the alley moves from one block to another, before you exit out back onto the city streets on the other side, she holds up a quick hand as if to stop you all. You watch as you can see Forte, her pupils grow larger, and she begins to breathe more heavily. She then puts a hand over her mouth. She waits 5, 10 seconds. And then she points again into the city streets where a few crowds are passing and looks towards each of you. She then nods and then writes in her book, a little quickly and more sloppily than before, "Let's get back to my place," and begins to wave.
Okay.
It's insane.
Perception check what she was just looking at.
Sure.
Or pointing at, indicating.
Never mind. Nope.
No?
Bark, you look on. You don't know what she's doing here. You see people moving by, a bag of gold being traded for a couple horseshoes. There's nothing out of place. This looks like a normal town.
Alright.
She waves you on, and as you carry on with her, you begin to again leave the busy city streets, heading into the residential area. She leads you over to her house, and again, using some keys, opens her door, unlocking the locks, and leads you inside before closing it behind you. She writes in her book and holds it up to you now and says, look inside each of your books.
Okay.
Okay.
Each of you open your blank small notebooks, and inside, scratched haphazardly with your writing utensils, is the image of a creature with numerous heads, all in the shape of what look like various humanoids. They're all attached to long stalks that run to a bulbous round body at the center.
That's horrifying.
What is this?
I don't understand.
She writes in her book, breathing a little heavier now, and says, it's the thing that only I can see.
Ah, jeez.
If only you can see it, then how did it end up in all our notebooks?
She writes again, this time taking her a little longer. She says, I've watched it. It sings. When it sings, everyone who sees it forgets that they've seen it.
She can see it because she's deaf.
Pretty sneaky, sis.
Smart play, dude.
See.
She writes and says, I need to get everyone in this town out. Will you help me?
Have these things always been here?
You see her turn right, and it says, I don't know.
Well, how long have you been here?
She says, I came here, or she writes, I came here a year ago. Been trailing it for about a month now.
Its victims, they are not remembered.
She flips a couple pages back in her book and opens it up to each of you. It tells you as a log, and you can see, very similar to how she is communicating with each of you, there are several pages here of what seems like her communications with another group and her plans to use that group or adventuring party to go into this creature's lair and put an end to it, to kill it. She looks at you and shakes her head, and then she writes in her book and turns it to you and says, I've been keeping notes, because if I don't, I would have never remembered these people.
See.
She writes again and turns it and says, if it kills and eats them, no one remembers them again.
That's what happened to Father Eden Evermore.
But
I guess.
we cannot leave this place. This beast must die.
Or everyone
She
must leave.
cocks her head when you say this, Opie, and flips back a couple pages in her book. She looks up and runs her eye scanning from the left of your party to the right, and she holds her book out. Written on it are all of your names, including Father Eden's as well. She pulls her book down and writes, these are the names I wrote down when I was listening in the Keymaker shop.
He was with us?
She starts to nod, but then writes, I guess so. I don't remember him either.
Oh, okay. So she can see it because she's deaf, but if the person gets eaten, she still forgets it.
That seems to be what the case is.
Well, then we have to put a stop to this thing.
Nature must be slain once and for all.
Her eyes widen and narrow, and she begins to shake her head to the left and right, and writes, "It will kill you and eat you, just like it did that party that I don't remember." This is not a thing to fight, she writes. I'm just hoping that you collectively can help me warn the citizens and get everyone out of town.
Okay, so what are the chances are the party she's talking about were just a bunch of wussies?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. The weak become prey.
They want us.
We killed the everlasting fire stopper.
That wasn't its name.
It is now.
Was it the Wicker Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, sure,
Ever-
that's not it.
Everlasting fire stopper. Okay, so a couple of different plans. Lincoln says all this in long-winded Lincoln voice. We could go try to kill it. That's Lincoln's prerogative as a character. He wants to kill it and take its bones because this sketch looks fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
Or we could devise a way to. Does anybody know like silence?
I can mem it at next rest. I have it.
I forgot to look at Druid spellbook, but we'll go on.
Okay, so there's silence. Do you think we could? Is there any other way we could deafen people?
I also can cast blindness, deafness.
That also works.
Odysseus used beeswax.
Oh shit! Yeah, we could like plug people's ears.
Yeah,
We should at least do
maybe.
that for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've got a zillion spells. I can.
So it wouldn't be hard to like. I'm sure there's a candle maker in town. We could just buy a bunch of raw wax and like make earplugs for people. If we wanted to do it like diplomatically. But we should save the town, right?
She
Right,
writes
Jack?
in her book and says, I'm afraid and fearful if you try to fight it. She writes again, it's been watching you all. It likes newcomers. She writes again, I was there around you when you were at the locksmith. You don't remember, but the kids playing nearby weren't screaming because they saw you. They were screaming at the thing that was behind you.
The kids can see.
Everybody can.
Insight check on that.
Mm-hmm.
What if she's lying? Why would she be lying?
I don't know.
She the thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Doesn't seem like she's lying.
Do you know how it hunts?
She writes, it moves through town whenever it wants. No one remembers it. It finds the perfect prey, and then typically at night, it pushes itself in through a window, through a door, with its long neck, pulls them from their bed, their room, their house, either kills them on the spot, or drags them back to its lair and consumes them.
So we were in its lair then.
Seems
Oh yeah, that's what is like a big feeding pit.
yeah. It could have been in there while we were in there. We just need.
Oh my god.
Yeah, why did... Can we explain that? Like, can we explain what we saw in the sewer? Is that the lair?
Are you explaining this to her?
Yeah.
Lavender's eyes widen. Her pupils almost dilate hearing this. She begins to breathe heavy. She says yes. That's where it eats and sleeps.
Why would it have not eaten us if we were in its lair?
She scratches her head and then writes, "How long have you been here?"
Less than 2 days. Or just about 2 days.
Is that right, or has it been less than 24 hours?
You've basically been here for about a day now. Well, maybe a little less than a day, actually. Yeah, actually. Probably been maybe 16 or so hours. She writes in her book as she takes a deep sigh. Probably because it was full on Father Eden.
Oh,
True.
man.
Well, then it can only kill one of us at a time. This is excellent.
Sure.
A dour point, but it does raise a very interesting, if macabre, angle of strategy. We could try to fight it. Make a pact that if we see one of us die in combat, we flee. And return the next morning to get out as many townspeople as we can. It has already killed one of our own.
I mean, I guess if we could figure out a way to see it, if the earplugs are silenced, we might have a chance.
How big is this town, Jason? Like, are we talking about like hundreds of people?
Probably
Thousands?
a good couple hundred.
Yeah.
Not like a kingdom, but certainly one of the larger towns here in the passage.
Evacuating the whole town seems a
Yeah.
big
You
ask.
don't seem keen on leaving this place, rather fond of it, in fact.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something else. I forgot, Lavender.
Lavender.
We found this message. Don't frog. Don't forg.
Oh, frog.
She looks at it and then cocks her head, curious.
Does this thing communicate with its victims or just simply abduct them?
She writes, "It doesn't talk. It only sings."
Well then, seems like we have another ghost to worry about. Either that or Jimmy sleepwalks.
I think Jimmy wrote it and then forgot it.
Yeah.
I think that's the implication.
Sure, that makes sense.
Well, what do you guys think? Do we try to convince as many people as we can, or do we try to fight it, and then if things go south, we'll retreat and cut our losses?
I think convincing a whole town of people to just like up and leave is, they're just gonna think we're kooky.
Yeah. There's really we're in like a swamp. I don't really know that there's places for these people to go.
Yeah.
We set a trap for it tonight.
She said it likes new folks. We could use one of us as bait.
And we've got plenty of traps. We could set up somewhere, maybe get a little jump on it.
We still need earplugs and stuff too, though.
It shouldn't be hard to procure wax.
She watches your mouths but then writes, I don't like this. If it kills you and it eats you, none of us will remember you.
Then I will be the bait.
I just don't think we can convince the whole town of people to leave, and where would they go?
She points at your books and says, if we could show them enough evidence, we could convince at least a good handful of them. I'm sure they're missing people. Strange, small things in their lives that they somehow convince themselves is not an issue. It's affected these people's lives, but they don't remember.
It's, if I know anything about the townspeople, asking them to leave their revenues of gold is a steep asking price.
We should
be damned.
But if we could show them that there is a monster walking amongst their midst during the daylight, surely that would scare them off.
Maybe.
She writes, it's doing it right now, moving amongst them, right in the middle of the daylight. None of them remember.
Well, what if we try these earplugs? And if they work, if they help us see the thing, perhaps we can give earplugs to the townsfolk and they can see it themselves.
She nods slightly and says, whatever we can do to help convince them that this thing is real and a threat to the townspeople.
Well, we need earplugs anyways, so I guess we go wherever we're gonna find those, or find wax or whatever.
Yeah, we could start there.
Candle maker.
I guess we ask her if there's like a candle maker or something in town.
She nods, yeah. Plenty of wax that you could get for each of your ears. But she writes, it's going to have to be thick. You can't just stick your fingers in your ears. There can be no sound. If you hear even the faintest bit of its shrill song, you'll forget you saw it.
I think the wax must be the right call then.
She
Maybe
writes, I pointed it out to you all several times. It moved very close by all of us. None of you remember. It has to be thick.
Make it thick. 2 C's.
She writes,
And Lincoln's got
go ahead.
Lincoln's got like little ear holes basically, and hot wax isn't gonna bug him because he's made of bone. So whatever it takes, we can use me as a guinea pig.
She writes, so the earwax, but then what?
Well, if it works, it's the easiest way to convince people.
We could start by seeing how many of us could use the wax method while forgetting the beast. Surely at least some of us will remember it, and those that do remember it can watch it and plan how to kill it.
We have to start somewhere. That seems a great place to start.
We have to start somewhere. Let's do that.
I kind of want to use primeval awareness to see if it's an aberration, celestial, dragon, elemental, fae, or fiend, or undead. But Lincoln's fae. So does that mean it'll just come up
Well,
positive?
what's the text of the spell?
Let me see if I can. There you go.
Action, expend 1 ranger spell slot. The next minute, you can sense whether any of the following. It says any, so
Yeah.
you'll get like a ping of Fey. So if it's Fey, that's not going to help.
But like, well, I know it's pointing out Faye.
I think that's what it's implying. Yeah.
Right. You'll sense out the creature type, and hopefully, if it does not overlap with Lincoln's Fae, then whatever dual type you're getting, you can assume is probably the detection of the other creature.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I guess I just mark off a spell slot.
Well, how far out does this go? Is the question.
It's 1 mile, so we have to be
1 mile.
Are we still in favored terrain by chance?
Yeah, this is all still swampy ground.
Oh yeah, then 6 miles in favored
6
terrain.
miles, yeah.
Damn.
6 miles of favorite terrain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up to 6 miles. You
Oh.
can specify like the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's a better deal. If you can narrow the range down to that kind of like the city limits, which is probably a good couple miles, but not that far out. After you do this, Opie, you begin to sense Fae, and you sense aberration.
That makes a great deal of sense. It is an aberrant creature, at least according to our drawings of it.
Okay, well, let's go to the candle maker.
Yeah, let's do that thing.
All right. Each of you begin to move. She writes in her book, "I'll stay here, unless you need me to go with you."
Well, why don't you come with us so you can see it? I mean, what if it's trying to sneak up on us and kill us or something?
There's almost a slight wary look in her eyes as she writes, "I don't like seeing it anymore, but okay."
Yeah, I got to be careful. She seems a little stressed out.
That's
But
true.
yeah, let's try to find like a candle shop or something. We do that.
All right. Leaving her home with her following behind and locking the door, each of you begin to make your way back into the large city plaza. It's not too far away from the locksmith's place, where there is a candle shop. Various aromas and scents as you enter, all shapes and sizes of candle. You can see them flicker amongst the paraphernalia around you here in the shop. Different incense mixed in as well. Lots of wax. There's a small gnome sitting at the counter and pops up as you enter. "Ah, welcome! Welcome! Come in! Come in! Welcome to the Emporium of Candleworks. What can I do you for?"
We need a large amount of your finest wax.
The most viscous wax you have.
Very viscous.
Preferably quick leg too.
It's not a sex thing.
But it could be. I mean, Mr. Forte.
He looks from the child, he looks over to the sentient bones, he looks to the tall bugbear and furbolg, and then looks back to you, Opie, and says, "Well, wait, what? You want just wax? I have candles. They smell wonderful. Why just get the base necessities when you could have a beautiful candle to go with it?"
We just need wax. We're doing a crafting project.
A school project.
Yes, I have a school project, and these are all my dad's.
We're a quintuple emerald. We'll spare you the details, but we are monster slayers, and we seek a monster with a potent sword. We need a great amount of viscous wax to plug our ears so this devilish song does not pass.
He scratches his head and says, I don't typically just sell wax. How much do you need?
How much can you provide?
I mean, I
in
think
an
like
emergency?
I think at least like a couple like gallons. Probably. I mean, he probably has a lot though. I mean, he's literally a candle maker.
He begins to write for each of you and says, not write, I'm getting mixed up. He looks at each of you and says, I could probably sell you like, I don't know, 5 pounds worth.
That sounds plenty.
How much would it be?
20 gold pieces.
We can do that.
He's fleecing us, dude.
Excellent.
Yeah, he is.
So, before we finalize the deal with this, and I hate to be metagamey like this, but I did say beeswax, and beeswax is pliable. Like, wax is hard cast. Is that going to be okay? Are we going to be able to use that in the same direction, same way?
If you can come up with a interesting way to get it in your ears without it being hot enough to burn you, then yes. But this is like a wax shop for candles. So yeah, this is not beeswax.
Yeah.
I don't suppose there's an apiary in town.
Yeah. Is there a swamp apiarist around?
Make a high or low d20 luck check.
Oh God. I guess that's me then.
Sure.
Yeah.
High or low?
Low.
Hey.
Hey.
The gnome sort of like narrows his brow a little aggravated. Yes, there's an apiary here. They sell delicious honey, but I thought you needed wax. Candle wax, right?
Candle wax won't hurt, actually. We'll take 5 pounds.
He leans
We've
back.
already wasted this man's time. We could at least give him some money.
No, just give me 5 candles.
Make you 5 candles then. My friend likes the strawberry scented ones.
No scent.
No scent, he says.
Just a candle.
He nods and he begins to package 5 candles as he kind of says under his breath, "Hurt you? Not a sex thing, huh? Okay."
It's not a sex thing.
How much money's for the candle?
For these candles, he holds them in his hand and looks to you like and says, 20 gold pieces.
Press on a rope. We're out of here.
I'm just kidding.
Your
Just kidding. A
price.
special deal for adventurers. 10 gold pieces. The smell is to die for. Light, aromatic, but without a strong scent.
I will give you 5 gold pieces and I will not break anything on the way out.
I will take that deal, he says.
I'm subtracting 5 gold pieces from my inventory.
Puts them on the counter for you.
So we didn't buy the wax for 20, right?
But there is an apiary in town, apparently. So
Okay.
how do I fucking change gold and
You're heading
20
over to the
or-
apiary.
Yeah.
It's a shop
Pretty
called
much.
Bud's Beeswax, and as you step inside, there is a much hairier-looking furbolg than Jiren, who is dressed in an outfit befitting someone who is just dealing with a bunch of bees. As he kind of takes the top off and turns and says, welcome in, welcome in. You all coming for some delicious honey? He says as he grabs a nearby container of it and kind of shakes it in his hand. It's the most delicious stuff you'll have in the entire town, trust me.
We need your most viscous beeswax. I'm doing a school project, and these are all my dad's.
It's not a sex thing.
Lincoln's not even sure what that means. Like, the professor said it last time. So.
Just how you greet shop peeps here.
You're,
Hello, it's not a sex thing.
you all want the beeswax, not the honey that I'm selling?
No, we just need beeswax.
We are making earplugs. Very important gear for monster hunting.
Okay. Well, look, it's not the first time we've had a weird request from adventurers. How much do you need?
How much can you supply?
He says, give me 30 minutes, and if you're looking to make earplugs, I could probably get enough at least to suit 10 of you. What do you need, more than that? Less?
Excellent.
Good enough for now.
Okay. Yeah, give me half an hour, and I'll grab that up for you. What price are you looking for? I've never sold something like that.
How does 5 gold strike you?
Sounds great to me. 5 gold it is, my friend.
This guy seems nicer, so I don't mind.
You people were what? Were you an adventuring group? Who are you? So I remember you.
Don't worry about that, pal.
You may never remember.
We're called the aristocrats.
Okay.
The well-wishers, I'm sorry. I was making a meta joke there. I don't expect you to laugh.
Well, look, come back in 30 minutes, and I'll get you what you need, okay?
Very well.
All right. He grabs the sort of netted cloth headpiece and puts it back over his head and waves his hand as he kind of steps back out from behind the counter, what you believe to be probably like a back greenhouse area where some of the bees are kept.
I like to think that he comes back with a bunch of police and say, yep, they're the ones with the sex thing.
Anyway, I subtract another 5 gold. I'll pay for it.
Anything happening in the 30 minutes, or are you just waiting for him to return with what you need?
I think, taking time to detail more stuff that we've gone over in our little books. Lincoln writes, Lincoln read this immediately on Sylvan on the front of the journal, in case he forgets the journal somehow.
Ah, good idea.
You watch occasionally over this 30-minute period as Lavender keeps peeking out of just the edge of the window and then pulling her back up against the wall and staying very still.
Opie's gonna ask her, is it out there?
She nods.
Is it watching us?
She pulls out her notebook and writes in it and turns it to you. And it says, I've been growing more fearful that it is beginning to realize that I don't forget when I see it.
Oh, so it's watching you?
You could just act like you forget.
She writes, that's very hard to do.
You are very small. I can carry you back. You don't have to look at it. Just be like a little tiny baby.
She shakes her head and says, or writes, that seems way more suspicious than it's just walking.
That's true, actually.
Sometimes he carries me like a tiny baby. It's really comforting, actually. You should try it.
Lincoln says that we should just pretend not to see the thing.
Yeah, she smiles weakly at you, Opie, and kind of just nods. Half an hour passes by, and the Furbolg steps back out with a glass jar or two in hand. All right, this should be enough if you're just trying to shove this stuff in a couple of ears. There you go.
Yes, ears.
or whatever else he says.
You son of a bitch. Add it to the party belongings. Put it on the cart. 5 pounds of wax. How do we make these things, Jason?
That's the same way we make hot dogs.
What?
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
That doesn't make sense.
I suppose we can test it now. Who wants to volunteer? Well, let's do Lincoln first, and then whoever has the biggest ears otherwise, which I think would be me.
So with this earwax, you all would get the sense that this is done in a relatively similar manner to candle wax. Heat is applied to it because it is typically in more of a solidified state. This will begin to transmute it into more of a pliable state. However, the consistency of beeswax is less conducive of heat than like candle wax is. So even if it is heated and pliable, it's not going to retain that heat, so it's not going to burn you nearly as much as candle wax would be. So you're going to heat it, get it in a pliable state, fashion it in your ears wherever you need to be, and then it's going to harden up on you.
Well,
Just jam that shit in there. Just deep.
yes, I think we should try with Lincoln and myself to see if the process works while we travel back.
Sounds good to me.
So let's do that hockey.
Do we need rolls for this?
To apply the wax?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, we do that then.
Yeah, you have plenty of time, and you're all able to spend enough time to fit it into your ears. Some of you apply it more than once because you can hear just the slightest bit of subtle sound outside, and you thicken your piece up using a tinderbox or something to light it up and really get it in there. Eventually, as you do, each of you are able to apply the wax to your ears. It is completely silent.
Oh, we all did it?
Did you all do
No.
it? Or is it just
No, it
Lincoln?
was just me and Professor.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then
Yeah.
just you and the professor do that. Okay, you apply this. For you two, everything goes silent.
Applied earplugs.
Mark just starts shouting, "Ah! Ah! Yes, I don't think I can hear anything."
So
What?
what's our next? I mean, you guys have to talk about this amongst yourself. But what's our next course of action? Are we going back to her hut?
Yeah,
Go
you
back
both of you in the beeswax in your ears. Yeah, you turn to Lavender and you see her holding up the book with the same word. On one page it says now, and the other page it says what. Seeing you two having shoved this earwax in your ears.
Should we go to the town center to see if you can see it?
I think that would cause an engagement immediately.
How would it know if we act like we don't see it? We could observe it. Put on, how do you people say, a poker face.
Well, I think everyone sees it. It's just that we don't remember seeing it.
True.
But your poker face analogy applies, I suppose.
So then, back to her hut, and on the way, we should see if we can see the thing.
She nods and then writes in her book and turns it to you, and with underlined wording, it just says, "Do not stare." And then she waves for each of you to come along.
This may be an odd question, but I just write in my book and show it to her. Do you have any family or loved ones in this town?
She looks to you and just shakes her head no.
Okay. I was just curious.
Not that she remembers.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we went into a botanist shop, and her name's Lavender. I was taking a fishing to see.
Thinking that too, but it was what was it? She was a gnome.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, so we start heading back to the hut.
You start doing that thing, heading back to the hut. Hang on just a second. Let's use this and take off some of the dynamic crap. Don't need all of this. Okay. And let me do this real quick. Hang on just a second. Now, again, on the way back, you, Lincoln, and Professor Bark, are you attempting to see if you can spot the thing?
I am.
Yeah, boy.
Okay. Let me see here. Let me just make sure. Let me go back to the dynamic lighting again and make sure I've gotten rid of all this stuff. Get rid of what's left here. Damn, what's that big blank area there? Alright, let me see if I can get rid of this real quick. Let's do reveal. Does this do it? Yes, okay, cool. Let me get rid of this.
I don't see why being deafened is sexy. How do people use this wax stuff?
You watch as when she leaves the building, she throws over her hood and kind of covers most of her face as she begins to move through the town.
Did she do that last time?
No, not last time. Everyone else, you hear the sounds of life here in the city. Vendors happily moving about. You watch as Lavender waves a hand for you to follow, and she keeps her head low to the ground. She begins to lead you through an area that is part of sort of like the marketplace plaza. A couple vendors that are here amongst a couple tents and things like that. As you begin to enter through that area so that you can see it more clearly, up ahead you see you, Lincoln, as well as Professor Bark, see something specifically. You see a very large, multi-headed creature. Its body a sickly, pale flesh tone. Several tendrils and appendages moving in between these stalls. More than one hand that stretches out with elongated fingers. Several deformed faces with sunken black voids where their eyes would be. Each of them bearing a grossly chittering grin. Mouths wide and agape. Long tongues that slick out and out towards the cheeks of nearby patrons. As you two both watch, occasionally one of the merchants turns and their face goes white, but then as soon as they turn, as if to scream or run, they see another as someone picks up a conversation with them and they smile brightly and continue talking with them. The creatures' heads continue to move around, looking across the marketplace here, and then its heads all turn towards your group. I need you, Bark, and Lincoln to make me a deception check so that it does not realize you are staring at it.
Did you guys... Oh, man, look at this thing. It looks like the thing from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time.
Don't like it.
I'm gonna make my smartest play of the day. And use my card.
Use that card.
Lincoln has no poker face. He's a skull, so he doesn't need a poker face.
This is true. Makes sense.
Do the plus one. Do the plus one.
I got no.
Oh no. Oh no.
All of the heads, you can see now, the shape of them each look slightly different one another. Some of them look like deformed faces of gnomes. Some of them faces of humans. Some slightly larger with a structure that reminds you of furbolg. They all look, some of their tongues hanging out of their mouths and flitting through the air. One of the stalks closer to the central head, one of a particularly gaunt human face with a slack, extended, far longer than it should be, open jaw, begins to push forward past the others, and it begins to stretch. 5, 10, 15. It begins to stretch past the vendors, in between two who talk happily amongst one another, over the stalls as it begins to extend out towards your group. What do you do?
Lincoln.
Supposing as naturally as I could, Bark would try to turn and walk directly away from its encroaching head.
Okay. Each of you see Professor Bark beginning to turn and try to put some distance between him and the long, elongated stalk that stretches out towards him.
I think I would try and turn Lavender away with me, like
You
kind of
see
like
she is already turned away now, looking.
by the shoulder. Well, I mean to give her an extra layer of deception. Like she didn't make the choice to look away and walk directly away from it.
Right. Yeah, she's over on the side, and she is almost turned and completely away from it.
Lincoln is gonna back away slowly in a different direction. But he's backing away specifically. Like he's looking at it and backing away.
Everyone else, you see Professor Bark and Lincoln doing this. You see that Lavender has turned completely away from the market square, but as you look ahead, you see nothing. You see a lively market square.
I just don't get it, Mr. Forte. Why do they keep saying it's not a sex thing with the wax? I just don't get it.
Lincoln, as Opie is saying this, you watch as the head of the creature comes about 5 feet away from Opie's face. Its long, elongated teeth and its bottom jaw begins to drip with the drool that slakes onto the ground as it stares at Opie, sort of shifting to the left and to the right, watching as Opie does nothing to even recognize its existence there.
It's just, why would it be a sex thing, you know?
There's quite a few battles for you, seasoned warrior. You have to become a legendary warrior before you will know those things.
It pulls its attention to Tyne. Tyne, what are you doing as you just kind of look at this open market square?
Tyne is smoking and just kind of watching Professor Bark, trying to figure out. I guess I'm kind of thinking maybe the thing is around, trying to act normal.
You watch Professor Bark and Lincoln as the head pulls close, about 5 feet away from Tyne. As he blows out a puff of smoke, the creature gives a rictus grin as its tongue swipes up, pushing through and cutting the smoke in half. It then pulls its head like a snake, swiveling its body, and looks directly at you, Lincoln. I need one more deception check.
Use card. Card.
Do I want to use a card though?
It's up to you, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'll use a card.
Oh yeah, use that card, please. Yeah.
Do you want to start a fight with just 2 of us?
Nah. Is anybody else just looking at a black screen with half of our names on it?
Oh, no?
Oh,
No.
let me see.
I'm looking at something I don't like.
Yeah, everyone should see it.
Okay, I was wondering what was going on. Anyway, I didn't also. Okay.
Stop.
I also didn't see.
There you go.
It's full of black screen for me.
Yeah.
I see my token, Jimmy's token, and Opie's token, but nobody else's token.
Really?
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is bizarre.
Jimmy and Opie, because we have control of them. Look, I'm gonna move them around.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe there's not.
Oh,
do you?
here, Lincoln. Let me see if that's the case. Let's see. No, you have
I
control of
also
it.
only see a black screen though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you must have some lighting thing on, and we don't have vision on our tokens or something.
That's so weird. Hang on. Let me see here.
And while you do that, I'm gonna roll my deception check.
So you guys don't see this thing?
The
No,
zoomed
we
in
do-
token,
we do.
yeah. But
Okay.
the background is just black. Hey, there it is.
Can you see now?
Holy
Yes.
shit! Yeah. Now we do.
No, that deception. No.
+1.
I mean, look at these loop rolls. It's pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna do the +1.
Hey, you
for
guys,
overflow.
you guys remember Professor Bark and Lincoln? I sure
No, you don't.
Man, we don't.
Does
This is some fucking garbage right here, man. This is some garbage.
broken image? Oh shit! Hang on.
Yeah, it's not. It's just little broken images in the chat.
I'm trying to find this stuff here. Let's do copy image address. Here, grab this.
Ew.
Looks like that.
Ew.
There's some other images, but I can try and pull those later. Damn, that one that I want to use doesn't work. Okay, you got,
12.
what was your total?
12.
It
'Cause I rolled
stares
like
you
shit.
directly in the eyes, Lincoln. Its long, elongated jaw hanging in the air. It cocks its head for a second. Its long tongue begins to pull back slowly before it cocks its head up a little bit, and its tongue runs up the side of your skull. It pulls
Lincoln
its tongue.
feels like running at this point would be appropriate if I have an action.
Yeah, you can do whatever. It's slowly running a gross, damp tongue up the side of your skull.
Lincoln feels like the MO here is to maintain the illusion that he's running scared. So even though he's not, he's just gonna turn and run.
All of you see Lincoln begin to turn and run back down the alleyway.
I guess down this way.
Follow him, I would.
Everybody following Lincoln?
Yeah.
All right, you all begin to run after Lincoln. Professor Bark, are you doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Was that a yeah? Or
I'm trying to decide. I'm between the two. Yeah. Yeah. We don't have a meetup plan, so yeah.
Each of you begin to run down this tight, narrow alleyway. Professor Bark, you, similar to Lincoln, lose sight of the creature in the distance. And as you run down the alleyway, I'm assuming you're just like running to a distance just to break vision on the thing, Lincoln? Not
Yeah,
actually
and
run too
if
far.
there's any like open doors or windows, Lincoln wants to try to like juke inside.
No open doors immediately nearby.
Okay.
But there's like the place that you ran to on that previous map. It's like a small little alcove, likely where the creature can't fit its whole body at least. You peer around behind you, seeing your other party members advancing, catching up with you. And as you peer around, you don't notice any signs of the creature itself.
All right, I'm gonna lay low for a bit. Is the party with me, or did I outpace them?
No. Everyone catches up with you. You probably, I imagine, didn't run too far. Maybe like, I don't know, a block or two down as everyone else catches up with you.
Cool. So, do I feel like the coast is clear?
As far as you can tell and see, it appears as though the coast is clear.
I open my book to the page where I sketched the Hydra, and I write in it, "Do you remember what this is?" And I show it to the rest of the party. I want to see if they can at least remember the concept of it.
Do we roll? Would we?
No rolls. You saw this drawing in each of your own individual pages before, but you have never laid eyes on this thing.
But do they know conceptually what it is? Do they remember what we've learned so far about it? Do they remember the song and the fact that
everyone remembers
okay.
what's been spoken about, but you have yet to see the creature so far.
Okay, cool. Then everything's working as intended, and Lincoln is using his hunter brain and beginning to formulate a plan. I am beginning to formulate a plan on the page. What does everybody else want to do? We could get Lavender back to her hut, I guess.
Yeah,
she doesn't like being out here.
Lincoln,
so.
you look around. Lavender isn't here with you.
No!
No!
Was actually holding on to her shoulder, though. That's what I was saying.
Oh,
Way
yeah.
back at the start, I was going to turn her away.
Well, she was over on the side and was specifically standing by herself, like looking away from the thing. So I don't think she would have let you try to pull her away. She was just trying not to look.
But we remember her, so she's not dead.
Well, that's good.
You do remember Lavender, but she's not with you.
For now, at least.
Maybe she ran, bugged out.
Should we go back to her hut then?
I think we run back to our hut and see if
Yeah.
she can went back there real fast.
Yeah, she's not going to forget her hut. We do that.
You begin to run back through these city streets, hoping that you don't see whatever that was back there as you make your way back for the hut where Lavender lives. You find the hut, or the small home rather, and see that the door is locked at the front. What do you do?
How does she know that we're here?
You knock at the door, Tyne?
Oh, yeah, how does
wait a
she hear the knock?
Yeah, I was gonna say she's deaf.
That's how we got in last
Feel it.
time.
Yeah, those of you with the beeswax in your ears, you have, it's not like a Spider-Man sense, but certainly you can feel the vibration of the cobblestone around you and things like that. Those of you without beeswax in your ears hear the sound of 3 locks being opened, and opening the door is Lavender, as she peers out really quickly, seeing you all, and then lays you back inside. You can now feel, kind of asking this question, Lincoln, as you and Professor Bark walk inside, you feel the sound, or not the sound, you feel the sensation of the shifting, somewhat pliable wood underneath your feet as things move around you. Like, this is probably how she hears, is the kind of like less tautness of the wood. Even just walking around, you'd be able to feel this, even if you couldn't hear anything.
We thought that the thing took you.
She shakes her head and writes, "Didn't want to be there for too long. Had to split."
Understandable. So what is the party's general thoughts on what we should do next? I have an idea, but I want to hear what you guys are thinking.
I mean, I want to fight it, but it seems like Jason doesn't want us to fight it, so that probably means
I'm not trying to tell you anyway. I'm just role playing as characters would react in the world.
So
we're fucking heroes, guys, and if we leave this town, it's gonna eat everybody. And what kind of fucking heroes would we be? And oh, go ahead.
I'm probably gonna say the same thing. We're on a mission to do good around here.
This thing is unnatural. We must stop it.
I feel like this classifies as the regional sub-boss.
I didn't want to game it that much, but yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
interesting.
All right. Well, we obviously don't say that out loud because it doesn't make sense.
The regional sub-boss.
This is the
of
regional
this land.
sub-boss.
probably holds a unique weapon after defeating it.
I mean, it
Well,
had the HP bar pop up and the music changed when it showed.
Yeah. We'll get so many experience points.
No, realistically,
There's a great wall of mist you have to pass through if you go back to the tunnel.
All right. Lincoln pops out the earplugs so he can talk to people again.
It seems like it worked.
What? Oh.
It did. I was able to fool the creature momentarily, but it eventually learned and chased me.
Yeah. If it knows that we know now we are targets, and it will probably try to stop us from doing anything, letting people know, leaving. It will probably try to eat us now.
That's perfect. It knows who to get next. We can set a trap for it. We wax our ears, then wax it.
Exactly. I have a plan to hunt this thing. It seems to keep its body in one area and stretch its necks out to give chase. I think all we need is something heavy, like, let's say, construction material dropped from a crane at a construction site of some sort, or something similar. Perhaps we can lead it in a loop, tie its heads together somehow. Either way, once we disable the necks, the creature will fall.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
It does sound reasonable.
And after taking a good look at it, you believe we can stop it?
I believe it is a creature, and we have weapons.
It doesn't hide because it's impervious.
Well, suppose this is how we help the town.
Did we see raw construction material or like a crane or like gantry or scaffolding back at the tunnel site?
You did not.
Do we have explosives?
Are you sharing? Are you sharing the? I'm assuming you're sharing these formulations out loud, Lincoln.
Oh yeah, no, he said all that out loud. Did I not have my Lincoln voice?
No, you did. You did. I'm just
Okay,
making
cool.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sharing it out loud.
Yeah, you didn't see any at that spot, other than just a bunch of shovels.
Okay. I'm thinking that it wants to kill Lincoln because it suspects Lincoln. If I can sort of be bait, I can maybe lead it out of the lair, and then at the entrance we can either blow up the entrance, kind of like cave in on one or more heads once they're through, and then chop at the heads when they can't get back in. Or we find like a different cart and like fill it with heavy stuff, and or I don't know, sharp objects, like make a big monster guillotine at the entrance to the tunnel and just push it down onto it when it comes out.
I mean, I guess, yeah, if we can get explosive, that doesn't sound like a bad plan.
You watch as Lavender's writing something in her book. She turns to face it to you. You found the tunnel we dug, with a question mark at the end.
Oh, they dug it. Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice. We did.
Yeah.
I suppose so.
She writes down, I think people make up stories so that things that they can't believe with their eyes make sense to their minds. She writes,
there
I've
is
heard
no
people
construction.
say that it's a construction area. It never was. That is where my team, along with a few of the city guards, tried to go in and take the creature down.
You said with city guards.
She nods.
How were they convinced?
She shrugs and writes, I don't remember.
Oh, somebody else came up with the plan and she forgot them. Fuck. That we haven't seen any city guards around, have we?
You've seen them around. Yeah, you've seen
Okay.
them around. Just haven't interacted with them.
Well, whoever believed her is dead, so that's a problem.
I got an idea. You want something heavy to weigh it down. I mean, our cart's pretty heavy, and we do have a big ass, like, ballista thing. We could just, like, shoot it, tie it down. No? Okay.
Well, okay, yeah. I thought you were suggesting dropping our cart on it, which is a no-starter.
No, just get some rope and tie it to one of the big ass arrows on the top of the thing.
It seems big enough to be able to pull the cart. I'm worried.
It was a huge creature.
That's why I'm thinking, like, we blow the tunnel or find something heavy enough that can be attached to a cart that can be dropped on.
I think the less delicate of the two operations is our best bet. The explosions, while not subtle, do seem the best option to me.
If we can get explosive like that, I believe I agree.
How would we get explosives? Do these people even understand what gunpowder is?
Well, I mean, is there any sort of like adventurer's shop in town since this is such a big city, Jason?
There is an adventure shop, but more importantly, out of a couple handful of shops that you've noticed, but I haven't brought up just because it hasn't become pertinent to what any of you are looking for. As I mentioned before, the passage is known for some of the valuable resources that are found within the mines around here underneath the earth. There is in fact a mining shop that carries supplies.
Yeah. Now we're fucking talking.
Mighty. That's exactly what we needed.
To the mining shop!
Only if we had like a 20-foot tall giant walking bundle of sticks that was on fire and they could just grapple it and throw explosive. Never mind.
So, have Earth Tremor help keep it slowed.
That's not bad.
Actually,
I mean, if it starts to escape, we can use that.
Yes. Well, how long does it take to rewrite our spell books? I wonder out loud, and I'm gonna check because there's a lot of spells we could use.
I think it's after a long rest.
I believe so as well.
I don't know that we'll survive resting, honestly.
Do it otherwise, can't you?
True, yeah. If we go to sleep, we might wake up a party of 4 or 5.
This woman's shack, you said it was all boarded up, right?
Boarded up without any real means to see inside from the inside of the windows.
Then we simply stay here tonight. Let our mages learn their whatever they need to learn, and first thing tomorrow try to draw it out before as it's coming out of its lair and going into town or whatever. Does that sound good to everybody?
You should, since Lincoln stays awake typically anyway, I guess put earwax in, that way you can see it.
Yep.
If it does come this way.
Definitely.
Wait, we can do this. It just takes a minute per spell.
Oh.
Per spell.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah. I think it's like one of those things you can't just keep doing it throughout the day. You pick one time to do it, but you can change your prepared spell list when you finish a long rest. Prepare from the spell list that you have. Spend time tinkering with the spellcrafting focus at least 1 minute per spell level. So I guess it's really just like, does after a long rest mean literally right after a long rest?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even know about that rule.
Cool.
Sorry.
I always interpreted that as, after the long rest, you just say what spells you changed. That's what you got until the next long rest. But this is my first spellcaster, so.
Yeah, my assumption of it all is that you wake up and then spend an insignificant amount of time, just 5-10 minutes, memorizing whatever your spells for the day. That's the way I would.
Okay, you do that while you're taking a poop.
Yeah,
it's
pretty much instantaneous when you wake, and we're just assuming as you wake up, part of your morning ritual is just cracking open your book for a couple minutes to get those memorized.
Fair enough.
Doesn't take an exorbitant amount of time.
It's like how you like scroll Twitter while you're pooping.
Yeah, you're scrolling your spell book.
Yeah.
It's much less toxic too.
Yeah, that's true. So are we gonna sleep first and then try to get the bombs?
No, we still have plenty of daylight, right? We should make all the preparations now.
Yeah, you've probably gone for about 3 or so hours during the day, so there's plenty of daylight left.
How far away is this mining shop?
It's in the city plaza.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
I think I shouldn't go. Lincoln should just stay here so that the creature doesn't see him.
Might be a good idea.
Bart probably shouldn't go either. I think neither of y'all should go. I think y'all should stay with Lavender, and then we should go.
Oh, God. Okay.
Good luck.
It's gonna be terrible.
The Chaos Crew headed out.
We're so competent.
Yeah.
One of you plug your ears.
Yeah.
But Tim, what if we're suspicious though?
Don't be suspicious.
Which one of you can be the most not suspicious?
Don't be suspicious.
It's gotta be Jimmy, right? Jimmy's got
It's gotta
deception?
be Jimmy.
Maybe? Deception?
I actually have a +5 in deception. Not that I
Not
can.
bad.
Opie has a
Well.
-1.
Not
I was
that I can.
thinking
Honest.
Tynar would be a good one because he can communicate by telepathy anyways.
It's true.
Oh, that's perfect. That way you can still talk to people and tell them to fucking run.
Run.
Mm-hmm.
Tyne could also be an animal too. Fine.
Oh. You know what?
Oh, that's
I
great.
was thinking. I didn't know if there was anything that could help us. I was.
Yeah,
looking
you
for
could be like a badger or something. That's
Well, hey, why don't we
Bird.
do this? We're at time.
Oh, shit.
Why don't we go ahead? We're at 11. Why don't we wrap here as you have all, at least for now, collectively come to a relatively safe area here within the quarters of Lavender. And we'll spend this week going into next week with you all formulating a plan to maybe see where you want to go shop, what you want to do with the remaining hours that are here, and decide how to tackle this nemesis in the city afterwards. How about that?
Okay.
reasonable.
All right. That's a good place to wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Hey, Bay. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thank you, Anna, for that raid. That was very nice of you. I appreciate everyone following, hanging out with us. Again, I'd hate to lose this 666 number because it's perfect. But if you are so inclined and have enjoyed the content, please give the channel a follow. Trying to build towards that lofty 750 follower goal. I really would appreciate it. And make sure and go check out my links. And also, I do have 2 seats open for my D&D game Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a Spelljammer campaign. We just are only a handful of sessions in. Get in there, be a part of that. Go check out that info in the links. I'm going to go give us a quick raid to some of our other fellow friends who usually do D&D on evenings along with us. We're going to go give the Adventurers Pack a little bit of love. Go make sure, give them some love. It's going to be more D&D content for you. They all play in person, which is really cool. So that's always fun to watch. So yeah, go give them some love. Tell them we sent you. Maybe they'll give us some love back. In the meantime, thank you, everyone. That is it for us tonight. We're going to come back here, hopefully wrapping up the Epicedium kind of pocket arc up next session and see how the party decides to maybe tackle this threat ahead of them. Have a fun night. Have a great weekend, everyone. Come back with me Monday through Thursday as we play more Weirdkin and playtest that, which is more of my D&D plus monster catching homebrew. That's a lot of fun. I'll catch you later, all. Goodbye, everybody. Good night.
Goodbye.
One of the players Robbie played with got carried away and killed him.
That's kind of far out.
Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game. Swords, poison, spells, battles, maiming, killing.
Hey, it's all imagination.
Is it?